here from Christelle's Art Factory. Today I've got another homemade art journal tutorial for you, a little bit different than the other ones. I hope you enjoy it. What we're going to do today is an accordion style art journal. So super easy. What I'm going to use an A1 paper, size paper, so quite a big one. Obviously you can use an A2 size, an A3 or even an A4 if you want a mini accordion art journal. That's quite pretty actually. As you know, probably if you've seen my other tutorial videos, I don't measure. It's very boring, it's maths and I don't like it. So basically we're gonna start with folding our paper in two lengthways, and with your nail just push quite nicely to have your crease quite neat, or as neat as possible. Here we are, and that's basically going to give you a guide to where you're going to tear your paper. I'm going to use my trusty metal ruler, and I'm just going to put the thicker part against the crease that I've just created and just tear my paper if I can. Just gonna move my ruler a little bit simply because it's smaller than my paper. Here we go. So I now have two strips of paper, and what I'm gonna do, I'm going to be using some masking tape. This masking tape is actually DIY masking tape, but it doesn't matter. You can use any kind of masking tape. You can use washi tape as well, but if you do, what I recommend is to put some either matte medium or Mod Podge or something like that, so it actually glues it properly, because I found with washi tape quite often you can just remove it, so it's a bit tricky. Now what I'm going to be doing basically is to have an extra long strip of paper, and I'm going to be joining my two strips together using the masking tape. Now because it's quite big, my table is not going to be big enough because I'm using such a big size paper. What I'm going to do, I'm going to make things easy for myself because I like that. So I'm going to take one strip and just fold it in half. Try to join the corners together and the edges together as much as you can. Here we are. And create your crease. Then what I'm going to do, each end I'm going to fold in two again, in that particular way, so you actually have an accordion. Turn my paper, and same on the other side. Here we are, so you have a nice accordion, your first part, and I'm going to be doing the same with the other sheet. Just going to flatten that torn paper here. Here we are. Fold it in half. The top half there, folding it in half again, the opposite way. Turn it over, and the other top half again, folding it in half again. Here we go. So you've got two accordions. Now what you need to do obviously is to join them together. You need to decide how you want them to fold. So I think the easiest way is going to be Yes, this way. Okay, so I'm gonna open the first one, just have the 2 pages there, and same with the other. I'm gonna join them together, put them one against the other, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use my masking tape. What I've done is to use some scissors to cut it nice and neat, because it's gonna make things a lot easier for me. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna place it very slowly and very carefully, starting not at the edge but slightly below, and just flatten it very slowly. If your paper moves, then it gives you the chance to put it back together a lot more easily. Now I've reached the end. As you can see, there's a little bit of a gap. It doesn't bother me because that's going to help actually the pages turn a lot more easily. I'm at the bottom there, and what I'm going to do is to turn these over and carry on very carefully. I'm just going to push so that the edge is neat. Don't know me, you know me, I don't usually do neat, but I think for this particular one it is actually quite important. Here we are. So very slowly, as you can see, I went a little bit on the side there. I don't know if you can see with the camera. So I've pulled it back towards the center. I've got a few creases there, but I'm just flattening them, and that will be fine. It's not a big deal. Here we are. So very slowly, just flattening the masking tape, and I'm at the edge, so I'm going to turn it again, and this is why I said I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap, because then you can go over quite easily, and it's actually quite neat. Here we are. So flattening it nice and flat, and I'm just going to go a little bit over my first one and cut it nice and straight, and just flatten it with my nail so there's no air bubbles, and also the pages are nicely stuck together. Now if I close my journal, here we are, as you can see it folds quite nicely. Now what I'm gonna do next is, because this masking tape, I've never used painter's tape, but I have the feeling that it's a little bit more papery than the masking tape to use for DIY. I feel that one is a little bit rubbery. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use a very old brush, and I'm gonna use some white gesso, and I'm just gonna cover only the masking tape, so at least when I paint or when I draw, it will be a lot easier for me to actually draw on it. If I don't prep it with the gesso, certain medium are just not gonna work on it. So at least with the gesso, it gives me that extra help then. So covering it all, and as well it covers a little bit of the color because it was slightly ivory, so it blends a little bit more with the white of my paper. Here we are. And what I'm going to do now is to quickly dry it with a hairdryer or heat gun, whichever you have handy. Here you go. I've got my heat gun upstairs. I'm downstairs because I need my big table. Here you go. So that's going to be a bit noisy. me fine. So I'm gonna turn my journal and I'm gonna be doing exactly the same on the other side, on top of the masking tape, adding some white gesso. If you go over on your page, it doesn't matter, it's just gonna prep your page. It's not gonna make that much of a difference. It's only with certain medium, like water soluble mediums, or maybe some inks as well, that you will notice a difference between the gessoed part of your paper and the unprepped part of your paper. Here we go, that should do it. And again, I'm going to grab my hairdryer. I'm going to be noisy for a few seconds. Here we are, all done, and you've got a lovely art journal accordion style. So you can use it in any way you like. You can do double page spreads, you can even do triple page spreads, you can do whatever you like. You could even do just one page all across the one length and then another, but it gives you a really nice option with this one because, well, there's no stitching, it doesn't take long, and you can use any size of paper that you want, and you end up with basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, I've lost count. We'll try again. Join me in part 2 and I will teach you how I'm gonna actually secure this art journal together so the pages don't go all over the place. I hope you enjoyed it. See you in part 2. Bye!